Give us your take first on Europe. I mean, we've been up and down in terms of sentiment. Technically overbought is a phrase I used just now. Do you agree with that? Do you feel a little bit more optimistic going forward?
I don't know if it's optimism is the word I would use. I think I would say that there has been a lot of pessimism priced into the market over the summer, and some of that pessimism is being removed. You have the better survey data that you mentioned come out this morning. You have a German GDP figure that again reinforced the message that the country wasn't falling into recession. But more importantly, you have a very dovish statement from Mr. Draghi last Friday that reiterated the fact that he was in fact ready to stand and act, and the ECB would do more. I think for markets, the unusual thing is that this is not a new statement from Mr. Draghi or from the ECB.
Right.
It's the same thing he's been saying for the last couple of years. It's just that it's starting to sink in more.
But Kerry, if I speak to you next week and we've had some bad consumer sentiment numbers out, Draghi hasn't said anything new, would you be saying the opposite?
No, I think that I totally agree that only one data point doesn't make a trend, but that the Eurozone has reasons to believe that next year will be a little bit better than this. The pipeline of progress that's in place for easing of monetary policy is very credible that the ECB has put in place. It's still going to take time for it to develop. I think looking forward to that December TLTRO will be critical, and to see how much that take-up is done by the banks. And all that kind of thing will hinge coming into next year, perhaps creating a more favourable environment for investors. At the same time, you should see a weaker euro, you have less austerity, and slowly we're seeing a turn in the demand for loans from banks, as shown in the bank lending survey by the ECB.
Where's safe right now for you in Europe?
Where's safe? I think, given the sentiment towards Europe, nothing is 100% safe. But investing in assets is not reward without risk. There is always risk to that. I would say if you're looking for opportunities, it would be in the cyclical stocks. The defensive stocks look slightly more expensive, as investors have been hunting for income for the last few years.